Ascension News, a deep Akashic Records clearing. I want to speak about the Akashic Records and how these can be cleared. This short presentation gives some insight into a certain kind of interference, and if this feels relevant, there is an associated transmission you can check out. The Akashic Records are a universal library containing information concerning the entire history of your soul's evolutionary journey, including everything from this lifetime and other lifetimes. The records are not physical books, though they can appear that way, or any other way in fact. The records are energetic. They are information held within a web or lattice of light that is non-linear and multidimensional in nature. The Akashic Records contain information on your stellar origins and your stellar connections. The Akashic Records could also be called your soul records, and these are consulted for many reasons. To understand certain life challenges and karmic patterns, to gain insights into innate talents, abilities and gifts you have developed over many lifetimes, and also to give you a greater understanding of your soul purpose. The Akashic Records contain information on past events, parallel lifetime events, and other seemingly past lifetime events, as well as emerging future tendencies, patterns, possibilities, and probabilities. The library can be accessed in many ways, and many access the records to read and channel information, and this is certainly useful, though my own particular interest and speciality is in clearing and upgrading the records. And this is something that is very possible at this time of ascension, this time between the passing of an old age and the birthing of a new age. I do this with the assistance of my higher self, certain guides, certain angels, such as the recording angels of the library, and stellar race beings, along with the higher self guides, angels and stellar beings of the client whose records I am looking into. The work of clearing and upgrading the records has been quite an adventure and a learning curve, and one where I am still very much learning. Perhaps it is my Libra astrological sun, along with my much Scorpionic energy, including my rising sign and Venus in Scorpio, plus my Virgo midheaven, that loves to dive deep and understand the various layers of psychological and energetic structures involving this particular kind of work. As many of you have already discovered, clearing deep interference and the need for specific clearing and psychic protection is necessary for a number of starseeds. And this is something I've dedicated much of the past 30 years to understanding, learning, and diving into. This was primarily for my own journey, to make my own journey easier, though after a dark night of the soul lasting 6 years, where I directly experienced certain hell realms, this work became more public. This work has led me to create an extensive library of material, much of which is freely available, within my own free resource library and places like YouTube. Though there is a section of deeper material that is held in a 5D membership area and available only to those with permission to view. So I want to give you some insight into this work by highlighting something I'm currently working on as I speak here in early April 2026. And this should give some insight into the kind of interference that can originate and be woven in from a number of lifetimes. This current project I'm working on involves something I call unbraiding negative timeline interference. But before I explain what I mean by unbraiding, I want to say a few words on the concept of a timeline. A timeline is something I understand to be one way the unconscious mind processes information relating to our inner and outer reality. It is also one way to access the Akashic Records. A timeline is a spatial and directional map that can be viewed from present to past current lifetime, present to past other lifetimes, present to parallel lifetimes, and present to future time. A timeline is one way the unconscious mind understands, processes, and organizes time and space in terms of memories, emotional energies, current choices, challenges and opportunities, as well as future plans, possible choices, and possible directions. I have been working with timelines for some years now, and I know this is also a way to clear deep interference from this lifetime back to the point of birth, time in the womb, and point of conception. It is a way to clear ancestral interference. Also anything hidden in the timeline, such as deeper programs of unsafety, instability, fear, scarcity, and so on. Clearing the timeline with the assistance of the higher self, stellar support, and angelic light is one way we can open the way forward into the experience of more ease, flow, abundance, and grace. And this is a method I use from time to time with clients. So coming back to this issue of timeline braiding, whereas psychic cording is something that most awakened beings know about, and this often manifests as interference in the etheric body and chakra system. Braiding is something quite niche and specific, however. It does not affect everyone, though I have come across a number of clients who have suffered with this malady. Timeline braiding is where the consciousness and destiny of another has become entangled and even merged with the starseed's timeline, and this is not done for the highest of motives. When this interference is present, there can be a sense that their light is being hacked into and even being utilized by another. There can be the feeling that something is pulling them back. There can be the experience of being on a timeline and heading in a direction that does not feel their highest destiny. A timeline where their gifts and abilities are being interfered with and perhaps accessed and utilized without the full knowledge of the starseed. This kind of interference can affect the mind, plaguing such a being with thoughts, feelings, impulses, and expectations that are not their own. infect their mind with visions and dreams that are not their own, entwine their energy system with a direction and a destiny that is not their own. Timeline braiding is a form of psychic cording, entanglement, that can be from any individual, especially someone who has narcissistic tendencies. Also from any individual that could be described as a false light being, meaning they seem light but they are really something else. And there are unfortunately a few spiritual teachers and channels falling into this category, though fortunately they are a small minority. This form of braiding and entanglement can come from a group. It can come through a highly charged situation or from a certain place holding negative energies. Braiding often has its roots in other lifetimes, where deep karmic issues and challenges are involved. This form of negative interference can involve a curse or black magic. It can come from a dark magician or a group dabbling in the dark arts. In such cases, it can involve psychic implants. It can involve negative AI programming, also mind control. This kind of interference can allow negative entities, lower astral or lower ET entities, to tamper with your timeline. Any such dark, magical interference can create a sense of moving along a false, low vibrational path, a dark, looping path, a path that seems like an endless labyrinth, or a path that becomes a dead end. All such gross interference will have its dark threads in the unconscious mind, and these are often formed during a time of trauma and fear, such as through imprisonment, torture, execution in other lifetimes. It can also involve situations such as galactic war, where prisoners were often subject to psychological torture and mind control programming. The various remedies for all of this, ones that the associated transmission employs, involve sending, dissolving, clearing all entanglements, releasing any merging of your timeline with that of another. It involves clearing with angelic light, along with the support of your higher self and stellar teams, into all layers and levels of the timeline, and into all layers and levels of the unconscious mind, to clear any limiting beliefs, including superstitious beliefs, clearing any negative hypnotic suggestions that allows such gross interference, clearing any mind control programming, and any psychic or soul level agreements that can now be cleared. And after all of this, placing adequate angelic firewall protection to ensure that this kind of interference is not repeated. Once this is done, the work then focuses on reweaving the timeline from present moment to future time, with a higher light so that the way becomes more open, clear, more aligned with your higher self's guidance, more aligned with your soul's highest destiny, where you feel more in your natural flow. So I hope this gives you a certain insight into the current work. The information I receive is often downloaded instantly, and I mean within 5 seconds or so. Though sometimes it comes over a number of hours, even days, and rarer now over a period of weeks. In this Akashic Records clearing, my body and energy fields are the laboratory space where the work is tested before it is generally released. Please know, no matter what challenges you face in this ascension journey, there are always resources that can help. You are not alone in this journey. Many others, including myself, are working quite publicly in this ascension process and are here to assist you in your spiritual awakening and soul's evolutionary journey. Please do check my website for my one-to-one clearing sessions. Please also check the free resource library that contains many resources, some not found on YouTube and other spaces. And if you wish to access the associated transmission called Unbraiding Negative Timeline Interference, then please check out the 5D membership. Many blessings.